Hey folks, Mackenzie Lambert here with my good friend John Cleveland.
Hi everybody.
We are on day 29 of the 31 Days of Halloween Horror Challenge. This is from the folks over at Nightmare on Film Street. Today's theme is Frankenstein's monster. Granted, it only says Frankenstein, but honestly, more people think of the monster than the doctor. So that's...
Really quickly changing my options. Really quickly changing my option.
Alright, so we're talking Frankenstein films, and for me, the end-all be-all is James Whale's Frankenstein, the iconic Universal monster.
It's not only one of the greatest horror films of all time, I will sit down and I will accept 100% it's one of the best films ever made. All of the sequels, two of the sequels are good. Actually, no, and that's being facetious. Of the Universal monster movies, the Frankenstein movies are the best.
Yes.
Overall.
Yeah, I will agree with that.
I will argue that all of them are the best, but Frankenstein is better than Dracula, but I am not dying on that hill.
And anyone who's listened to us long enough knows that what my favorite Universal monster is, but I will admit that Frankenstein is technically the best movie of the Universal horror.
It's so good. It's so good, start to finish. The portrayal, the acting, the effects, everything is so good. I love they finally were able to have the audio where he's, I feel
in the name of God, and also that they were able to include the entirety of the little girl scene.
Absolutely,
absolutely. When they cut off originally that scene, it's like this. What your head fills in is even worse. He did horrible things to this little girl.
Yes.
So the fact that they included that back is great, and so it's. Boris Karloff is great. Colin Clive is great as Henry Frankenstein.
Yep.
So, and the sets are absolutely beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Yes.
Gorgeous. I mean, there's a reason that Universal horror was a thing, right? And the Frankenstein film is so, iconic to that.
Yes.
So it's one of the pillars of it. But so good. And if you had chosen any of the Frankenstein movies, I would have completely agree. I like the original, but Son is probably better.
And there's a lot of people that say
Bride is also great. It's basically, I think those three are I know there's more, arguably, because...
People don't think of them as a trilogy, but
they are.
Yeah.
They really are. It's the same monster, the same story. He starts where he left in the last one. There is a little continuity mix-up between Bride and Son, but... It's so... Also, remember, these were made when home video was an option. You only ever saw Frankenstein if you went to go see Frankenstein. So 2 years later, when the next, or 3 or 4 or 5, when the next one came out, you weren't remembering details, so it didn't matter. But, they still hold up to this day. I will just tell you right now, if my recommendation on that, just watch all 3.
Yeah.
They're good for different reasons. They cover different... They're subliminally talking about different topics, too. So fantastic.
And also, too, we're talking movies that are only 65, 70 minutes, so it's
speed through it.
Yeah, and the pacing, phenomenal pacing.
It doesn't feel like a short film either. It feels like a perfectly good pace. It's amazing what they were able to accomplish.
Alright, so that's my pick for the Frankenstein's monster. What was yours?
Figuring I knew you well enough to know that you were either going to go Hammer or Universal, I stayed away from both. I love them both, don't get me wrong. If you were asking me what's the best, it's Universal's horror. Yep. I would have accepted Hammer, but I think we can admit...
Yeah.
I love Christopher Lee. I love it all to death. It's not as good.
No.
With that, I went a different route.
Okay. I
went... What is a horror film or a film I watch with Frankenstein in it around, October, the spooky season, that I need to put on my list somewhere, and I haven't yet. And so I put Young Frankenstein.
Oh, God, yeah.
1974, filmed in black and white, despite it not needing to be, obviously. I love this movie. This is, if not my favorite comedy of all time, it's my second favorite comedy of all time. I love it to death. I will just be gushing until you tell me to shut up. I love the acting. I love the comedy. I love the sets. I love the fact that it is arguably the best parody of all time.
I will agree with that.
Because a lot of people forget it's just a direct parody. He's not adding new ideas. He's just parodying Frankenstein. Mostly Bride, or
also a lot of Son of Frankenstein
as
well.
Son, I was gonna say Bride and Son more than the original, but fantastic. Just A fantastic film, hilarious from start to finish. If you like Blazing Saddles, first off, if you've never seen it,
same year as Blazing Saddles.
same year,
yeah,
insane that Brooks was able to accomplish that, especially too because like him and Gene didn't get along great on set a lot. Like not coming to blows, but almost.
Yeah.
Their versions of comedy was just very different.
Yeah, very creative differences.
Creative differently.
Yeah.
And but like it's amazing how much they were able to get away from it too. Like it's a 1974 film, and there's some adult jokes in there that would not fly today.
Oh, the mysteries of life, how I found.
Yeah,
you.
and I don't even just get like, and then she's just like into it, like rolling the hay. I mean, like it's a raunchy movie, but it's Mel Brooks. If you're familiar with his work, you know. I assume at this point, if you're listening to this, you've already seen it. This is a reminder: watch it again.
Yeah, and just the bookshelf scene alone just cracks me up every time.
What? Back.
Oh, and God, Gene Wilder. Gene Hackman.
Yeah, stay near the candles. The stairwell.
Where are you going? I was going to make espresso.
Can be treacherous. Ain't got nobody. It is top 3 most quotable films of all time. I love it to death, and to be, like I don't suggest them back to back, but if you watch one of the, if not the trilogy, but if just one of the original Universal Frankenstein movies, and then watch Young Frankenstein,
you'll get so much more out of the jokes.
You will get so much more, exactly. But again, that's a bit of a jump, so I get not wanting to do that. But like, it's also, I could have put this under family friendly too.
Yeah.
The kids are not going to get the jokes that are flying over their head, so just check it out. You should watch both.
Yes.
All Frankenstein. Well, the first 3 Frankenstein Universal films. The rest are not as good. No. Sadly, but also the rest aren't really Frankenstein. They're more Frankenstein and Dracula.
Like the Monster Mash.
At that point, after the first 3, it's Monster Mashes.
Yep.
But just check those out, and check out Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so those are our selections for Frankenstein's Monster. That's day 29. Tomorrow, day 30, the penultimate day.
Yes.
Black and white films. So, yeah.
I'm just going to do Young Frankenstein again. No.
Cheater.
Yeah.
All right, so that'll be Black and white films tomorrow for day 30. So until then, this is Mackenzie Lambert.
And John Cleveland.
See you tomorrow, folks.
Bye.